Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm glad that you're here hanging out with me in this little nook of the internet. Today is summer solstice. Um, at least for Northern Hemisphere, it's summer. For Southern Hemisphere, it is winter solstice. I'm a little envious of that. It is so hot here today. It's like 100 degrees and getting hotter in California, where I live, Northern California. Um, so yeah, summer is definitely making itself known today. And what's funny is that I already started to record this and everything overheated, and so we're starting again. Hopefully this time we're gonna be successful. So yeah, solstice. It's the changing of the seasons. We'll just touch on that for a bit before we dive in to the bigger part of today, which is exciting. Um, but today is that kind of liminal doorway that we're turning from spring to summer. And in this kind of sacred space, the sun seems to stand still. And if you look back to many ancient temples, there are even places like doorways, windows, where the sun will actually shine into that spot precisely at on solstice. And so these are places of power that the ancients and even modern day, we still do this now, connecting to those places where we can really listen to that wisdom that's coming through from our sun. And what's beautiful is that the earth is always listening. And so just us being on the earth and she is open and ready to listen to what the sun is trying to say today. We are also earth, and so all of our chemistry, our all the different levels, our biology, the seen and the unseen, they're all ready to listen and open to, this beautiful, star being that we have in the middle of our solar system. Isn't that cool? So, yeah, to commemorate the day, I decided to wear my sun shirt, and it's like right here, a little lower than my heart chakra, but the sun, in the way that I practice astrology, is our heart. It's like the center of where everything starts to radiate out from. And so it is actually this beautiful day where we can actually absorb these intense heat rays from today, because it's so hot. If it's not super scorchy hot out where you are, take a moment to really just like enjoy being outside and taking in this information, because if you tuned into my very loopy video last time, I talked about how a lot of our awarenesses are starting to come online. And so this is yet another invitation to open us even further to the awarenesses that are inherently ours. And I'm talking about the gifts that we came in with that we might not actually really know about until they're fully activated. So, and I'm talking about, um, tuning in extrasensorily. So, and being able to tap into, really amazing skills. Like, I mean, in this case, we're going to be diving into talking to crow spirit. And this is one of those things like, yeah, like you have this ability too. You can tap into whatever it is that you're wanting to learn from. You can if you choose to. And so this is a beautiful doorway, an invitation for you to walk through with the sun and this and the earth doing this beautiful dance. So let me see. Oh, I was just gonna say, like, how can we actually tap into the earth and the sun's conversation today. How can we tap into it? And here's the joke of the universe: to do nothing. Do nothing. And what's amazing is that we have actually put in so many different rules around spiritually doing nothing. So meditating and shamanic journeying and like all the different ways in which we turn off the mind, the chatter of the mind, and sit with the stillness of the heart. And what's amazing is that that entire, all of the different ways in which you can go about that practice, with breathing certain ways, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like doing headstands, and like all these myriad of ways of just simply muting the mind and entering the heart. In essence, that's doing nothing. So the beauty of this is that you can actually just enjoy. Maybe there's a shady tree outside and you can sit under it and relax. Isn't that beautiful? It's like one of the most incredible gifts that we could probably do on such a hot day, is go sit under a shady tree and just relax and enjoy the stillness for just a moment. So anyway, homework, do nothing. Yeah, right? Easier said than done. This is why so many teachers have been teaching us all the different ways of doing nothing. Okay. So before I jump fully in, again, this might be a longer video. Apologies if, well, that's just what it is. It's a longer video because there's lots to say and go over. But yeah, I just wanted to also, touch on the fact that me and Lisa Lovelight of the Sacred Sisterhood, we have launched our Ancestor Alchemy retreat, and there's only eight spots, eight sacred spots. And we would really love for the most aligned people, that's the people that are truly called, to join us in that beautiful place, in that temple, that desert temple and by the beach. If that truly calls to you, the early bird is still available, and we're even thinking to, how long do we keep that open? We would really love for people to, get in there at an affordable rate. I mean, it's already really affordable. So anyway, as retreats go, we are making it as reasonable as possible, so that you can go and yeah, we can do these beautiful healing rituals under the sun. Okay, the sun wanted to come out. So under the sun, under the moon, under the stars. And it's going to be in October. Moon dance is going to be radiating in that field. It's going to be such a mystical, magical soup. So I'm very much looking forward to it. And I would love to extend the invitation to anybody who really feels called. So anyway, I will, that's already in the link, the description down there. So check it out. On that note, we're also doing a new moon shamanic journey event, and that will also be down there to find out how to get there. But that is, we're going to be hosting these different events so that you can tap into moon medicine, which is like what we love to do, moon medicine. And yeah, kind of give you a little taste of what it is that we're even going to be doing out in this beautiful place in Mexico. So yeah, join us for that. That will be available. I can't wait to see you. And now for what's actually in store today. Woo. So this came to be, this whole crow, talking to crow came to be because there was numerous times now I'm doing readings or sessions or these videos, and there's a little crow hanging out, like just right there on the rooftop. And it's been really, really sweet. And also sometimes obnoxiously loud, just cawing out there. And I already have a very sweet connection with crow, and I just thought that how beautiful is that, that it was hanging out with me and you in our videos. So it wanted to take center stage today and really give its message. And we're going to find out what that even is. So my relationship with crow, I feel probably spans many lifetimes, but in this one, I became aware of it through kind of a storytelling game with me and my daughter. And we had two crows that would come and frequent our house when we lived in a different place in Novato, in case anybody's local and knows where that is. So yeah, we had crows that would come and hang out in the yard. And we would tell stories about these two crows. I think they were probably a mated pair. And they would come and hang out with us all the time. And some pretty magical things happened with crow on that property. So, those are stories for, longer videos, but anyway, we named my crow was Corvus, and partly that was because I was trying to teach my daughter like the Latin words for animals because I'm a geek like that. And so, I had Corvus and she had Cordelia, and I loved it. And so there were these adventures of Corvus and Cordelia. So that evolved over the years. And then there was this one day where, crow medicine and energy kind of weaves itself in and out of, my awareness. And so it's not always the animal that I work with. And so for a few years, it kind of went quiet and it was doing its own thing somewhere. And then crow medicine came in real strong, and it was around working, deeply working with my ancestors. I started to get really into ancestor work, and partly because I don't know my ancestors and I wanted to get to know them. And the only way that I felt like I could get to know them was through spirit and more like mediumship, shamanic work. And because I was fascinated. So crow energy started to come in big time, but I wasn't totally aware of that. I didn't put it together that ancestor work, crow, raven energy, I didn't put that together. So speed through a few years, then I'm living in this house now, and there was a spring where I could see the crow mating, like not mating, I couldn't see them, but I saw them building their nest and going through the whole process, and coming and going with twigs and all these different things to build a nest. And I could see the whole thing straight from my window right here in my bedroom. And it was so beautiful. And I could watch the little crows, peeping out of the nest. And then I watched them take their first flights. The whole thing was just so special to watch from start to finish. And since it's the second story, I kind of felt like I had a bird's eye view for this event, and they were really allowing me in on the process. And it was really, really something special. So then, some months later, I come pulling into, there's like a round circle to get to in my house. And as I'm going around the circle, there is a crow that had fallen, somehow had passed and was lying in the road. And one of the things that I have learned, I have actually taught myself how to do, is um, to preserve the wings, the feathers, so that they can become sacred tools. And part of my personal belief, and this is actually something that I kind of learned from other teachers and other beautiful elders, that this is a sacred practice for giving new life to an animal that has passed. And what beautiful gift for both of us, the animal that gets to be remembered and revered and used in ritual medicine practices. And then, oh my gosh, my brain is already starting to get into this liminal space, so I lost my train of thought. But what a gift, what a gift. I guess what I was thinking is that, it's a gift for both of us. Yeah, but my words, poof, have fallen out of my head. And that must mean it is time to begin. So, and I'm also holding this. Crow puts you into a liminal space between light and dark. We're in that place where sun stands still. So I was trying to tune into why did Crow decide of all days to really hang out with us in a big way on solstice? So one of the stories from Crow, Raven, and these are a little bit interchangeable. I feel like Raven is the one in mythology that is most talked about. And it's not to diminish Crow. I do feel that they are different octaves of each other. They're virtually the same archetype, but then there's just slightly different medicine between the two. And honestly, I'm still trying to work out what that is. So, Raven in many mythologies started as a white bird with white feathers, like an albino, and through one process or another, stole the light of the sun, moon, stars. And because of the heat and the intensity of that light, its feathers burned and scorched and turned to a dark black. And I actually see raven and crow feathers having kind of a blue. I don't think that the video will pick up on that. In the sunlight, they shine blue, which is another piece of their medicine that I think is quite special. And even like before videoing, like starting the video, I was having some big, like I was just kind of grumbly, like what do you call it? The words were getting stuck in here and I was just kind of coughing. And I think crow actually activates the throat chakra because of that radiating the blue energy with the sun. Anyway, there's a lot crow medicine magic. So Raven Crow is known to be a shapeshifter, is also the husband of Sedna. And this is a painting that I made that for me, it was the hair of Sedna. We'll talk about her another time. But she married Raven. And so I decided to put, they love each other. So they're a pair. But Raven is also a trickster, and his energy or her energy shows the different pieces, I believe, of humans' nature, through bird language. It's a trickster, it's a mirror to us. It is showing our trickster nature, but it's also showing our light and shadow qualities of being human. So our generosity and all the different ways in which we love and help each other. And then, we've got the other stuff where we are selfish and greedy and, only think of what we need first. And so it's showing those two ways that they interact. So, and then of course there's Odin's ravens. We've got Hugin and Moonin. I like saying those kind of words. So Hugin was thought Munin was memory, and Odin would send these two ravens out, and they would fly all the way around the world, gathering their information and bring it back. And they would both whisper into Odin's ears. And that is how he learned the news for the day. So we are going to call on Raven and Crow. Specifically, Crow wanted to come in today. And I think it's because it is a more, we live in a lot of urban societies, and Crow brings that high Raven archetypal magic down a notch so that we can approach it in our day-to-day lives. Crow makes this magic available all the time. Raven is a little bit more, tuning into the forest, like that's where you typically see the Raven. Or in, places where there's less human development. And Crow loves to be around humans and scavenges from different things that we leave behind. So here we go. We're going to tap into the questions that you had that, I polled the crowd to see what questions anybody else out there had for Crow. And because Corvus and has always been my personal spirit Crow, I'm going to call on Corvus because it's really fun to get personal. So today I've got my cucumber water. So pull up, your tea or your water or anything that refreshes you, and we'll get settled in. Okay. Just kind of clear the space, clear the energy. Sweep this for you. And just imagine that Crow is coming through and sweeping your energy field as I am sweeping my energy field. And we are now sinking into the space where Crow, my dear Corvus, is available for communication. In this space, we're going to ground our energy. The way that we can hear best is by really taking root into the earth. Otherwise, things can be very confusing and disorganized. So let's tap into the earth together so that the information coming through today with Corvus is rooted in truth and wisdom and clarity. Thought and memory are aligned with the portal of the heart on today, which is Solstice Day. The messages, of course, coming through will be timeless and will always meet you exactly where you are in your time and space. And together with your guides and my guides, the ancestors that have held and revered Raven, Crow through the ages, may they step through to also anchor this reading in divine light. And may we do this with humility, curiosity, and joy. All right, here we go. Ooh, that sage is getting a little strong. Okay. I have to put this out, otherwise the entire room will be a plume of smoke. Okay, here's our candle. This is the one that represents the sun for me and my altar. So it will be holding space for the sun today. All right, the questions. So we had one question, and I'm not sure if I should name names or not, but I will just say from S. So S has said and asks, crows are a very large presence in the trees and garden at my home. Actually, Crow is telling me to wait. So I'm going to wait on that question and do the written questions in a moment. Crow is guiding me to actually tune in, shuffle. And instead, the question is, what would you like to tell us today on solstice? Whoa, these are very slippery cards. I'm of course using the Crow Oracle. That will be in the description later. Oh, wow. Okay, here we go. The reading has begun. So the message coming through from Crow today on solstice is growth and distraction. And what I'm hearing through these messages is that this is a summer is a moment of, things are really starting to take off. The fruits and veggies, they are, this is peak growing time. The harvest will be coming soon in different waves, and that this is a big time of growth. See that sun radiating, and see this boisterous crow calling out. It has no fear, no shame over who or what it is growing into. There is no hesitation behind this crow. It is ready to declare who it is, and it is shining. It is shining so bright. And then these beautiful little cherry blossoms, new life. This is definitely a day of new life and new expansion radiating. But then it was paired, they both fell out at the same time. It's paired with distraction. Distraction. And what is distracting you from actually moving forward in strides towards that which you are becoming? And I think it's funny that, this day was riddled with distractions. The Zoom platform crashing, my computer overheating, then music blasting from neighbors. And, Crow is part of this. Crow is also sometimes a distraction. It is cawing out, it is calling to get your attention. It is trying to distract you from the things that are keeping you from connecting to nature. Because nature is where you will grow and thrive. We don't necessarily grow and thrive when we're scrolling. We're not necessarily growing and thawing. Interesting, that word came in, thawing. Like the freeze is starting to thaw. I'm just going to take some time to listen. Because a lot of a lot that comes through is usually anchored around us being more in tune and actually stepping into these places of growth and leaving behind the distractions. I do think that it's funny that it is distracting this dog so that it can get at its food here. I love that. So here we go. Today, solstice. Crow is actually calling us in to have this conversation. So, all right, I'm gonna say thank you for that. And then I'm gonna see, is it actually time to jump into the questions? It's telling me to do it in a different order. So we'll do it in a different order. We are going to start with one from someone named L. Again, I'm just using the first letters of these people's names for the sake of their own. If they want to share, then great. If not, you are just L. So, Crow, what piece of advice do you have for us Earthwalkers to invoke more magic into our life? Crow is a very magical being. It has been known as a shapeshifter, a shaman, one that can move through dimensions of time. So, what piece of advice do you have for us who walk on the earth rather than fly through the sky? What piece of advice do you have for us to invoke more magic in our lives? I'm seeing this one. This one. Is there any more? And this one. Okay. So the first card that we see is abundance. Tapping into the abundance that is all around you. And the story of this card is that the crows here live next to a cannery, and so they know that food is always available. And then there are crows that live just on the other side who don't know about this cannery, further across town where they perhaps, aren't in the same, the wind that carries this fishy smell to them, and they don't know. And so Crow is actually telling me, turn around and start to take in the information. Like these crows, they literally got wind because the smell was in the wind of all the fish that were just lying here ready to be taken. And look at this abundance, this feed fest. And the ones that didn't get wind of this are feeling lack and are feeling like they maybe have a tougher life. So Crow is saying, turn around. This is paired again with the fact that Crow came in telling us to lose the distractions in our life. What distractions are keeping you focused in a place where you can't see or feel or know the abundance around you? So it's saying turn around. Okay, and then the next one is saying release. Release. And then the other one says distance. So release, distance. Huh. So I'm seeing how this crow out here is one that does not see the cannery, but if it were to release, release these expectations, release these different bags that we're holding that are far too heavy, that we don't need, to actually just honor. See how it's honoring this fallen bird. It's honoring what you release. So I mean, I often hear, especially in this kind of healing community, release it, cleanse it, let it go. And that sometimes it's not so easy because you want to be able to process, you want to know People want to get to the root of why it is that they are feeling a certain way, or need to know more about what it is they're releasing in the first place. So you can't really release something you don't know about. But so if you start to actually turn around and face your abundance, face the places that are actually fruitful in your life, the things that you've been holding do naturally loosen their grip, and we can honor those different places of tension that have been keeping us steered in a different direction. So then this one, distance, what's coming through with this is that Crow is very curious about us hiding away in little boxes. It doesn't understand why we hide in boxes. So we're so distant. We're so distant from each other. Look at these little houses. We're so distant from each other and our community. And so one of the beauties of having a healthy community is that it thrives in abundance because it works together. So that is actually something that Crow shows us daily, is group effort. They call out to each other. They're constantly communicating to each other threats, like when me and my dog were walking down the road and caw, 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 caw. You can just hear it from a mile away. They're announcing that something's coming up and to be careful, be mindful. But they also, in a certain respect, they help each other out, and they're community oriented. And so, yeah, releasing those walls that keep us distant from each other, and start to become more community based. That is one way that we can invoke more magic into our life. And what I'm hearing is that if you don't have people around you that you feel are in this kind of communal give receive kind of space with you, that this is work that you can call on spiritually first. You can begin to cultivate that by calling in your guides and archangels, ascended masters, all the unseen realm that are your spiritual community, that help you find the abundance, that guide you to find that which is ready to be released. And little by little, as you start to have, your unseen community around you, that actually starts to take root as you become less isolated, less lonely, less feeling like you got to do it all by yourself. That in turn actually like turns your head towards the people, the actual people in your life that are there and available for you to both support and be supported by. So thank you, Crow, for that. That certainly is a way that we can invoke more magic. Doing magic with these people, the communities that we're in, doing magic together, ritual practices. I know right now with Solstice, many people are practicing together. In fact, oh, wait, I didn't ask a question, Crow. What did you want to say? Gifts. That's beautiful. Gifts and stability. Okay, but I'm putting those back because I didn't ask anything. Okay, so now the next one would be my friend Kay. It says, I would ask for any guidance on connection with ancestors. I know that Crow knows all the ones who have passed. How would they counsel us on ancestor work? Ooh. This one already just came right out. Oh, beautiful. This one says bond. Wow. Well, that's a beautiful message, isn't it? You know, like right here, the heart, if you can see this, it's two crows and they are perched on top of a anatom ah, a heart that is anatomy anatomy looking. Why can't I get that word out? Anyway, anatomically drawn. Blah blah blah. I can do words, yes. Okay. So, and then these roses. This is really incredible. Okay, the message that's coming through is, you know, the different roses in Incan culture and possibly others as well, if I don't know. But the masculine and the feminine, the red and the white, and those joining, coming together. So this is like duality. These two are bonded. They're it to me, I see them as a pair that has been together for a very long time. And if you think about ancestors, these are these are people that are running through your lineage, through your blood, your heart. And, you know, calling on both your masculine side, your father's side, and the feminine side, your mother's side, uniting them in the heart space. And that creates a very rich tapestry for you to connect with. So it's saying to bond through the heart. So journeying into the heart, journeying into your blood. If you know, this is why I'd love for any of you to join the new moon shamanic journey, is doing these journeys and actually using a guided meditation to go into the heart, go into your blood. You can ask questions, who you are, where you came from, and how to make a stronger bond with your ancestors. So, first of all, I feel like this is going to be a two-part question. How to bond with, how to how would they counsel us on ancestor work? And the first step is heart, journey into the heart, listen to your heart, connect to your ancestors through your heart. And what's coming through that's so vital is that when you connect with your ancestors through your heart, this is calling on the medicine of your lineage. You know, our lineages have so many different facets, the wounds and the gifts. However, the heart neutralizes all of that. And so if something in the past happened to those ancestors that shook them up, and then they, from then on out, carried an impression of a certain wound, and then that came all the way through the line and is now manifesting in you somehow, then the way to actually tap into the medicine of that, rather than the psychosis or the you know, emotional upset of that, is to listen to it through the, you know, the message of the heart. And that is the way that you can get the medicine. And I would love to have like a very practical way of doing this. Look at that. This is, I was going to ask Crow to, you know, give us a bit more clarity. Now, illusion is big, because when we're doing ancestor work, a lot of things that come up is illusion. And this is why a lot of ancestor practices and shadow work practices, which I feel is ancestor work, and we'll just put that out there, is looking in the mirror And some practices include a black mirror, like crow's wings, looking into a mirror and looking at yourself and asking yourself, who am I? What am I really here for? And there's another one. I'll remember that practice later. However, it's looking at yourself in the mirror and looking past the illusions of who you are and all the different things that you feel are problems. Like again, it keeps bringing us back to the things that are distractions, the things that keep us isolated, you know. So looking at the illusion, and I love this card, is that here's this crow. It's looking in the mirror and it's cawing really loudly. And I've used this before. It's reminding me of, when we look in the mirror and if our hair is all tangled or our teeth aren't brushed, and you look at the mirror and you're just like, man, brush your hair, brush your teeth. Well, the mirror can't do anything. It can only just sit and stare. And it actually screams right back at you. So everything that you are projecting onto this mirror, it just comes right back exactly the same. Now, in this interesting reality that we live in, where it is an infinite fractal of a mirror, that means you shout at the mirror and you don't necessarily, you might not be clued in or aware of the angle in which that will be reflected back at you. And this is why so many magical practices say that whatever you send out, you will get it returned back threefold. And this is one of those things. So it's ancestor work, looking into that mirror. And when there are things that are challenging and difficult, you can ask your ancestors that are well and healed and have gone through the transcended path and ask them, how did you take care of this problem? Can you give me a bird's eye view to see this from a different perspective? Use that mirror to your advantage. If you don't like the reflection that you are seeing, it's time to look at it from a different angle and look at it from a different fractal of the mirror. See how this mirror is also shattered? I'm not sure if that you can see that. It's shattered here. So there are many pieces. Or actually, now that I'm looking at this, it's a reflection of the light shining off of the garbage can. Now that's an interesting message. At first, when I was looking at it like this, I thought it was shattered glass, which would also make sense. Anyway, there's also I'm seeing a key. That actually looking into the mirror and seeing truth is a key. And so ancestor work can help us see through the illusions and then see what's actually true. Okay. All right, and now we'll get to S. Crow didn't want me to start with this question, and I think it's for a good reason. But here, I'll read it. S says, crows are a very large presence in the trees and garden at my home. They do a lot of talking and even more staring. When I'm outside, I tend to give them a wide berth out of respect, and also out of a wee bit of wariness. I would like to ask Crow if there's ever a reason to be scared of you. So Crow, come on out and tell us, is there ever a reason for us to be scared of you? Give us your honest opinion. Rain. Rain. What's coming through with this is that there's so many people out there that hate rainy days. And whenever there's rain, they feel gloomy and sad. And if they could have their choice, every day would be a sunshiny day. But how boring is that? Because then you never get the storm. You never get the rainbow. And a world without rain is one that is drought. And so, if there's ever a reason to be scared of you, it's basically just saying, which way are you looking? Is the rain sad? Is the rain actually making you depressed? Or is the rain giving you hope for the life that actually grows in response to the water that comes down and the rainbow? I want to know anything else that Crow might have to say about this, because I like that. That's really cool. Rain. And it's actually just kind of amused. Are you afraid of getting a little wet? How long has it been since you've splashed in a puddle? Oh, and rebirth. So Crow is also the one of rebirth. And it now this message that's coming through is actually, this one's a big one. This one is about being scared of death. And so if there's ever a reason to be scared of you, Crow, well, frankly, it's, are you afraid of death? And that death is an illusion, because here everything is reborn. And it's even showing me again that this beautiful little body, this actual physical flying crow that just last year, maybe 2 years now, was a crow that was perched outside because it is my neighborhood crow. And now it has passed, it is on the other side of the veil, and now it is instead a medicine object. Now, while one version of this would be that the crow has died, and the other version of this is that the crow has been reborn. And so, if there's ever a reason to be scared of you, it's one of those times to look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you afraid to die? And this is why crows can be scary, because does anybody not fear death in some way? I think if we are all very honest with ourselves, we would all say yes. And it's because it's a very big mystery. We don't know what happens after. And in sometimes it's associated with pain or illness or disease of some kind. And so it can be brutal and it can be uncomfortable and challenging. And of course, we all want to have just a wonderful, peaceful, blissful existence where we just completely live in abundance all the time. That is not the human version of what we're doing here. We came to this place so that we can experience the bliss and the challenges. And that is what Crow is here offering us today, is that through the gifts and the challenges, you are always reborn. And today is a beautiful day to really, really step into the rebirth of that with the sun. Technically, in ritual speaking, like ceremonial speaking, the solstice is the time when the sun, summer solstice is the time where the sun starts to wane. And now it is actually going back, loosening its power, and migrating its way to fall. And then in fall it dies, and then come solstice again, Christmas time, winter time, it is reborn. And so Crow coming in on this very sacred day is yet another message of how can we be reborn, not just in this powerful portal of solstice, but each and every day. How can we be reborn? Because we are actually in a quantum way reborn every single moment but we as people can't keep up with that. And so a way that we can keep up with it is, in kind of that Egyptian chematology kind of beautiful way, very poetic, that we die at sunset and we are reborn as the sun rises again. So anyway, message from Crow. I don't think there's ever a reason to be scared of Crow. Crow seems to really offer us, it doesn't hold back. That's for sure. It doesn't hold back. And that's, I think, what we appreciate about Crow, is that it tells us the truth. And truth is good for us. So another friend named Kay says, I think this is where we'll top it off, because this video is probably very, very long. Thanks for hanging out with me. Crow, Kim Kay says, hey Crow, you are beautiful. Tell me about your favorite things. So here we go. Crow, one last question for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Tell us your favorite things. Look at this. This is hilarious. I'll save that one for last. Okay, here we go. Scavenge. It loves to find juicy things that we throw away. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. That's some good stuff. That is some dynamite grub in the garbage can. So it's saying I love to scavenge. It's also telling me right now, shiny fun things. Leave peanuts outside, or, any kind of seeds. If it's actually telling me, oh my gosh, it's showing me I have a stump outside. If I were to just every day put a couple little things out on the stump, maybe some peanuts, walnuts, maybe a couple little shiny fun things like coins, it would be forever grateful because it loves to find things. Okay, the next one is dawn. It loves dawn. Dawn is the moment where you can see the sun coming up. The stars are still shining. The moon is sometimes still visible, and all is quiet. And everyone is still in their liminal space. Crow likes the liminal spaces, the in-between space between the dark and the light. Crow brings darkness through its wings and its dark feathers into the light to be illuminated. And so it is showing us that it loves that moment of dawn. And so you can maybe, if you're up that early, you can greet the crow. And then the last one, now this is how you know crow's a trickster. Fear. What are your favorite things? Fear. What's that even mean? Like, what do you like about fear, Crow? So we're gonna pull out this. These are my little words. Okay, so Crow, you funny little creature. How is fear one of your favorite things? How is that so? Tell me. How is fear one of your favorite things? Okay, I see these two popping out. Okay. Crow. Archetype and authenticity. So archetype, call forth ancient imagery, wear a divinely appointed mask, explore your personal myths. Now, this is across the board a shamanic practice of making masks ritually so that you can work with these different totem animals. And making a crow mask probably was quite entertaining. And it probably also invoked a little bit of fear and hesitation on humans' parts. And I think it gets a chuckle when it sees us a little uncomfortable. Crow is a trickster. we got to keep that in mind. Crow likes to see a little bit of challenge, a little bit of it's the one that's going to spike your drink. Authenticity. Who are you now in your entirety is worth, oh wait, I can't read that right. Okay, authenticity. Let me try again. Who are you now in your entirety? Why can't I read this right? Who you are now in your entirety is worthy and enough. Boom, there we go. Who you are now in your entirety is worthy and enough. And how about I say that again? Who you are now in your entirety is worthy and enough. Resist the urge to pretend. Life is asking for more of your truth. Do it your way. So it's also kind of poking at us not doing the things that scare us. So Crow is definitely across the tales, across, if you read the different stories, is one that plays tricks on people, steals things from people. It likes to know its edges and grow our edges by giving us an opportunity to look at our darkness while the lights are on. And this is why it can be amusing. So looking at your fears with amusement, that is not always something you can do on the spot, but you can look back perhaps and take a peek at, you know, as a kid, I was terrified of the dark, and I still have times where I am, and that actually can be kind of amusing, and other times not, you know. But finding opportunity to look at your fear with a trickster eye. So one of your favorite things, Crow, is helping us look at our fear. Isn't that lovely? Maybe from a bird's eye view. So thank you very much, Crow, you cheeky thing. Much appreciated. I'm just gonna ask for its last. This, yes, this is why it came in. Crow loves shiny things. And so, as a last little piece of this whole beautiful reading, and if you've hung out with me so far, I greatly appreciate you and am so glad that you were part of my team. Okay, yeah, I think I'll leave that out. So, these are the gemstones, and I'm actually I'm going to leave that out, but I'm actually going to ask Crow specifically what gemstone gift would it give us in spirit. And you can even think in your mind's eye of you in a space, and you're extending your hand out, and Crow is giving you a little gift. It's going to put a little gift in your hand. So let's see what that is. And of course, if you imagine something, power to you with that one, and hold that dear and near to your heart. But if you did not have an image come through, then it is, ooh, Peridot. Peridot. And I actually have, speaking of Peridot, I have a Peridot ring just right here. Just, you know, synchronicity, nothing to it, right? You know, this is how shamans work. We just suddenly have stuff. Boom. But we're magicians. That's more what I was thinking. So that's a peridot ring. And peridot, it just gave us a peridot. And peridot says so much life in you. It's reminding us that we have so much life in us, and to keep ever growing, ever expanding. And then the one that fell out that I wanted to ask for the gift first, but I'm going to honor this one. It says, be soft and listen with blue topaz. And take a look at how mystical this is. It's helping us remember how it loves magic. It loves mystery. And I bet you do too. Yay. Okay, have fun, everyone. We are going to say goodbye to Crow. Thank you so much for being here for this conversation today. I'm going to release you kindly back into the spirit world where you can go off and do your own crow things. But we all always welcome you in our lives in some capacity, and we're forever grateful for all the wisdom that you've shared. So thank you, Crow. And thanks to each and every one of you on Solstice. Yeah. Um, putting a little bit of water outside to, really get the water to remember the solstice energies. That is something that can help bring a little light in when you are feeling a little down. So it's kind of a special little thing to make if you can today or on any sunny day. And yeah, drinking solar infused water is very, very good for the heart. So, my friends, that has been the reading for today. I very much enjoyed spending this time with you. I'm going to put things away, and yeah, please join us for our shamanic new moon journey. That will be lovely. And see you at my next reading. Great. Bye, everybody.